Hey everyone, Karen Goes Carnivore. How's it going today? So ignore the hair. There's a reason for this. And this is a quick intro to a video I'm going to play that I posted on my other channel. But it does have to do with carnivore eating. I do talk a little bit about other stuff on my channel, but I do want to post it here because I do talk about carnivore eating. Um, Enjoy and let me know what you think. Okay, bye bye. Hey, everybody. Coffee with Karen this morning. Click. How's it going? I really had to do coffee this morning because I have the best bedhead. I mean, come on. So, there's quite a few of you who will be like, what the heck is going on here? For the first 4 months, come on, Luis. For the first 4 or 5 months of this channel, I would do coffee with Karen every morning and I would say, good morning, bedheads, because I would show up with a bedhead, okay? And have a whole bunch of different mugs. So here's our mug today. Be brave, go your own way, okay? So anyways, I then stopped doing it just because I really was waking up not feeling like there was anything I wanted to talk about, you know? Plus, I have to say that it's very interesting. So when you're building a business or you are developing something like this, a community, and you want it to continue growing just because, well, one, financially, but two, you just want to do things that appeal to people, right? So it's like, well, at first when you start something new, you're just so easy breezy about things, because there's nothing to lose at that point, right? There's just nothing to lose. So as you start to grow in something like this, then you start looking at analytics, you start, paying attention to what people watch longer, how much, you can't help it. You literally cannot help that. It actually is what makes the most sense, right? But in that, you do lose some authenticity, you lose some creativity, you lose some, you know what I mean? You lose that momentum. So we have kind of swung one way, which is normal and natural. And now personally, I'm swinging back and just being like, you know what, the algorithm's important, but I also just want to, do the things that I want to do. You know what I mean? Which is exactly how I started this. So I thought, well, it's fine. It's fine. So anyways, welcome to Coffee with Karen. It's not going to be, if I wake up one day and I have something I want to talk about, I'll do a Coffee with Karen. But it's not going to be like every day. And that's the other trap you sort of fall into, is you fall into this trap of like, something has to happen every day. And then when that happens, you're like, you start to not like it because it's like, well, I don't want to do it every day. Do you know what I mean? So I have to find the balance between what the community members get used to, and what I'm able to do, right? So you just find these balances. It's really interesting. So I find myself kind of swinging back. And in that swinging back, I feel more creative now. Like I feel like I want to show up more. I want to do different things, regardless if, and the thing is when you're first starting something like this, if 1,000 people or even 500 people watched a video, you're like, yeah. And now if we get only 5,000 people to watch a video, we're disappointed. You know what I mean? So, it's really an interesting psychological experiment. And at some point you just have to, it's just interesting. It's a balance, so, but so I woke up today, and this is not necessarily a spiritual topic, but kind of, I guess Lucy's, I guess Lucy's hanging out today. She is used to having coffee with me in this chair. So I was just watching, what was I watching? The spinoff of Sex and the City. What is it called? And this is, and that happened or something. What is it? Oh, and Just Like That. Yeah. And Just Like That. So I'm on that series now. I just finished prior to that watching White Lotus. So good. I have HBO Max. Now I got hair on me. So anyways, I do enjoy this. It's okay. It's okay. Like it took me a couple episodes to get into it. I'm on season 3 and God, I can never remember. It's a very odd title, and Just Like That. I can never remember what it is. So it's cute though. I'm on episode 8 now, so it's kind of, Carrie is always adorbs, but so, but what I woke up wanting to talk about was what I put in the title. Oh my gosh. Hair. Oh, she's sitting down here now. I literally, she's 20. And so, which is every day I'm like, how is she 20? She runs around here like she's a kitten still, I mean, she's got health issues, but watch. Oh, I guess that wasn't too bad. I let you down there. Usually if I just give her a nice little scratch with my fingers, I can easily, oh, there we go. Yeah. Every single time. See, that's why there's hair on my face. Yeah, you get used to, when you have cats, you get used to hair. So, if we ever got another pet, I don't know. I can't even imagine living without cats. She's our last one. I had 3 at one point together, and then Cleo, my white Himalayan, who was the most chill cat I've ever had, passed away transitioned, let's say, last July. And then there's Lucy. They were both 20 Cleo died when he was 19. And so both of them were the same. They kind of grew up together, same age. So click, Coffee with Karen. It's kind of fun. It's fun for me. So yeah, let's go, bedheads. Come on. I got a couple of bedhead photos from people. I think I have 3 or 4. I said if I ever got 30 that I would do a bulletin board. I might be back to that offer. I got 3 or 4 I got so far. I got your pictures if you sent them to me. I appreciate it. So anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I woke up thinking is, so, don't let this turn you off. I put in the title that I wanted to give you an update on my new way of eating. And some of you know what it is, and some of you might not know what it is. So when I say what it is, don't let that turn you off, because I think everybody who is interested in feeling good, like really feeling good, especially mentally and emotionally, and consistent, if you have not in your life felt consistently, emotionally, and mentally good, then this is something that it would be helpful for you to at least listen to or consider. Okay. So, because I woke up this morning and I'm like, I just can't even believe this. I can't even believe this. One, I can't believe how long I woke up in the mornings and had to work myself into the day, meaning mentally. I wish that and again, we can't really do woulda, coulda, shouldas because things come along when they come along in our lives, right? But I just think if all the years that I had been working outside of the house, I think I was pretty effective, but I had to really work to be effective, and to not be a bitch on wheels. And I don't mean a bitch. I mean just emotionally taxed, and a little depressed sometimes, and a little anxious, a lot of times. Nervous system central nervous system, right? And I think in our society, we're used to the, just say affirmations, and I'm not saying that's not good, or journal, or read health, spiritual books for enlightenment sort of things, right? Which is absolutely, absolutely. But if we don't take a serious look, which I have throughout my life, but I've never landed on carnivore before. Again, don't let that turn you off because I have stuff to explain about that. So I have been interested in health all my life, but all of those approaches I've tried have never landed me where I'm at today. In the I can't believe that my emotional, so I'm a feeler. You guys have heard me talk about that if you've been on the channel for a while, an emotional empath, right? I'm a feeler in the Myers-Briggs. But I've always wondered why, I just thought that I was just more emotional than other feelers, So I'm still a feeler in the Myers-Briggs in the traditional sense. But my emotions and my thought process, I now believe, was due to the way I was eating. And it's really, one, fascinating, two, really disappointing that has never been the way I was eating all my life. And I mean, there were very large chunks of my life where I was eating what would be considered very healthy. Healthy grains, healthy vegetables, all organic, by the way. I spent a lot of money on organic foods. Low protein, well, not necessarily low protein, but low meats. Okay. Never, ever in my life have I ever been as clear and as even. I keep telling you guys, when I'm in other videos, and I'm really trying not to focus in the other videos on health because that's not what people are here for, So I thought, well, Coffee with Karen, I can, I'm allowed to talk about what I want to talk about. So, and this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about today. So will people unsubscribe to the channel? Probably, which is really interesting. Again, this is stuff that you always have to consider when you're building. But I'm at a point, I'm back to where when I first started, I'm just, I want to show up when I want to show up. And I understand the community. Everybody has different wants and, likes different things or whatever. But the person who's creating this has to show up when they want to show up and how they want to show up, right? Because that's where you get the most authentic. That's where you get the most authentic. So anywhere in our lives, and I'm considering this in my own life too, is to try not to put on, all these boundaries around people. Because, we do that with creators on YouTube. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It's hard because you hear people's opinions about stuff and you care about people, I very much do, especially as a feeler, an empathic feeler. Is that even something empathic? Empath and a feeler. But anyways, I only talk about this kind of stuff for for you to look at your own life. It's not for you to you don't need to leave me a comment and say, oh, Karen, you should do what you want. You know what I mean? Totally. You don't, that's not what this conversation, when I have conversations and share that kind of stuff, I'm not looking for, people to agree with me or disagree with me at all. So it's just, I'm just sharing things that I'm learning in my life that you could maybe apply it. It's not exactly the same if you're not doing a YouTube channel, but you can apply it in different areas. You know what I mean? So I really want people to hear that if you have not had a steady mental health most of your life, I'm here to tell you, and this is after only 5 weeks, that it's because I think this is not medical advice. Well, okay, and I'll say for my body, I'm here to say this is worth giving a try. That's all I'm saying. This is worth giving a try. If you want to be more clear in your thinking, still feeling but not so emotional, I really think that it's my nervous system. It's been my nervous system that has been causing that. And I think it's caused by carbs. Too many carbs, okay? And not enough protein. Now, I am going to talk about the ethical stuff because I know that's a huge concern. It's a concern of mine. That's why I have always eaten organic and local, and because it's been a concern of mine. So just because I have switched from plant-based to animal-based does not mean that that value goes away, okay? So it doesn't mean it has to go away for you either, okay? And I know a lot of people in the spiritual community, this is important to them. And it's amazing. It should be important to us because it does impact our planet. And I care about animals. I save bugs out of our pool. I have probably saved, we've had a pool for like 20 years, and I have probably saved thousands of bugs. I don't let them die in my pool. So it's not like I don't care. Of course I do, But we have to remember that it's interesting because there is politics obviously involved. And it's interesting that I've heard one plant-based or animal-based doctor call it plant-based propaganda. I heard that. And I thought, okay, that's interesting because we're used to propaganda right now now we're realizing with just government, that's just, a lot of it is propaganda. And Trump's bringing that to light for us, But it's interesting that, and what I'm finding, which is actually another really interesting thing, is a lot of people who are carnivore are more right-wing. Not necessarily MAGA or Trumpers, but they're more conservative, which it's just interesting. It's interesting. So that's a question like Dr. Sean Baker. And this is where we have to put that aside because this isn't about politics. It isn't. But the question is, why did this get picked up on the conservative end first? And now as liberals, we're like, we can't eat meat. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's been a thing. It's like, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to generalize. I've just noticed, like Dr. Sean Baker was on Joe Rogan, but this was a while ago. I never listened to Joe Rogan, but once he then, basically had Trump and, then it's like, now I have an opinion about him, And then when I found out Dr. Sean Baker who's an advocate for carnivore and has done it himself, and he's a very, very nice guy and teaches about carnivore on YouTube. And so, but I've noticed that's, I'm like, wow, it's just interesting. It's interesting when you look at things like that and when you start to see things from a different lens. But I mean, obviously, I have a whole list of health things that I'm excited to heal, and I know they will. It's going to take a while. There's going to be, that's the body. My body is dealing with different things in the beginning. It's going to deal with what it needs to deal with because now I'm finally allowing my central nervous system, my cortisol, to calm down based on the way I'm eating. Okay. That's how I don't have any medical proof of that. All I can tell you is how I feel. So, and I just started this week. I have reduced my antidepressant. I'm on venlafaxine. I've been on that for like 5 years. It does help my hot flashes, but I also had severe anxiety. Severe. Okay. Like, yeah, it was awful. I tried plant-based to get rid of it. It actually was worse. So, but now, so I've been on venlafaxine for 5 years. I had kept increasing the dose. I was at 187.5 milligrams. About 4 weeks ago, I went down to 150. I stayed at 150 for 2 weeks. I did have one day where I was feeling off, so I actually bumped it up again. So I'm just paying attention to my body. If I have to still be on it, I will still be on it. It's not that I am dissing. I mean, it has saved my life over the last 5 years, not be miserable. Okay. So I'm not dissing that at all. If you got to be on it, you got to be on it. But I'm curious to know for my body if I need it now. And so I was down to 150. Now I just went down another 37.5. So I'm at 112, I think, 0.5. So I just started that like 2 days ago. So far, so good. I'll see if I have a day or two where I'm like, okay, I'll bump it up again and then just maybe for 2 days and then just try. I'm going to try for like 2 weeks and see how I do. But that being said, because I actually heard a doctor say, I'm not sure which one, a carnivore doctor, say that because your brain starts healing so much, you won't need the antidepressant or even your gut, because a lot of what your brain is connected to your gut, right? So as my gut heals, my brain won't need the serotonin from the antidepressant. That's what I heard a doctor say, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. And I'm working with my doctor. My doctors know, I have 2 doctors. They know that I'm reducing. So I'm not doing this alone. They gave me the way to do it. They actually said I could go faster. I'm not going to go faster. Why should I? I'm not going faster. There's no reason I need to torture myself. One doctor was like, yeah, you could just go down for 3 days and then go down again for 3 days. I'm like, yeah, no, not for 3 days. I want my body to heal and then So I don't know. I'm just so excited. I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, I was actually thinking about fasting. Now, I've always been like, there's no freaking way I can fast. Well, that's on carbs. Because you'll always feel hungry. And I know for a fact, like when I ate, everybody's different, right? But when I would eat a lot of carbs, I mean, I literally would eat dinner, like a high carb dinner. Even if it was vegetables or, anything like nutritious, that's supposed to be nutritious, I literally would be hungry or feel hungry. I'm not sure my gut was hungry, but I would feel hungry like 30 minutes later. I'd be like, okay, what am I to eat now? You know what I mean? Even after I ate a full meal. Now I have a steak for lunch. Like yesterday, I had a steak for lunch, a pretty large one. It was like in New York. It was like that big. It was probably 3/4 of a pound or something. And then that was at 1:00. You just don't get that hungry, but I wait for my body to get hungry and then I really enjoy. So I ate the steak and then I went and worked out, which I've never been able to do on just like one thing. I went and worked out. I never have to worry about my glucose like shifting so much. I mean, I would be working out on carbs. I would have a full meal and I would always have to have a snack in my bag because if I worked out at I would get like shaky, like my blood glucose would drop if I didn't have enough in my body. And that's been going on for a long time, not just pre-diabetic, stuff. But by 8:00, I was like, well, I'm really not that hungry, but I probably should eat something. So I put a whole bunch of chicken wings in the air fryer because I hadn't done that before. I really do just prefer beef. And you find out as you go through this what you prefer. And it's weird because it gets simpler and simpler and simpler. It's like, yeah, I would rather just eat steak personally, and some people just prefer to eat beef, or maybe you'll prefer to eat chicken, but my understanding, or fish. But my understanding is that beef is the most nutritious food you can have. Don't take my word for any of this. Look at the research. Just look at the research. That's the problem with these kind of conversations is people just get like, no, broccoli is the healthiest thing you can have. Well, have you actually looked at the research? Have you studied the research? Or are you just listening to, what we've been told our whole lives, The other thing that's really interesting, I think, if you're questioning veganism or vegetarianism versus, and again, it doesn't have to be a versus. There's no versus here. It's just what works for you and what works for me. And we don't need to argue about it, but there's a way to do either one that's better for the environment. Because here's the thing, I have done my research now, and vegetarians are not better for the environment. They are not better. They also, all the GMOs that are on the fields right now are not just for beef. It's not just for beef, So there's, and think of if you're not eating local, right now, all I have to do, I kind of transitioned into this issue, and I'm not here to argue. There's no arguments here. There's no argument. Don't even argue. Just do the research. Just do the research. I'm not saying one is better than the other in terms of the environment. I did the research. They both have issues for the environment, and so if you're just thinking that you're a vegan because of the environment or ethical reasons, there's actually an argument to be made that if you ate regenerative farming cows, that's actually better for the soil. So cows are better for the soil. Cows will regenerate soil for people who want to eat healthy vegetables, because right now, especially in the United States, soil is not, it's not healthy. Our soil is dead. It's dead. And cows actually, because of their manure and other things, can bring back the soil. You know what can't bring back the soil? Is vegetables. Vegetables cannot bring back the soil. And yes, you probably could, buy manure. So, don't let it's all just like everything else. Just do the research. That is why, and I know my sister said there's been some comments because I've decided to use AI in some of our discussions. No, I'm using AI for facts and organization. I'm not using AI to ask for spiritual advice. AI is not there yet. I think it will get there at some point, but it's not there yet. So, because I think, so when I talk about AI, it's about AI can go out there and tell me exactly what the facts are about, let's just say, veganism. And so I did a research, veganism and carnivore, let's just say the extremes, right? Ask AI to run that research for you. Tell AI to only give you 100% facts from the research. Now, you have to be discerning. Okay, well, of course we have to be discerning. But what I got back was very consistent with what I've learned about, so just be discerning still. Of course we have to, but it's a tool that is freaking amazing. And I don't think you have to be afraid of it to get moving on it. Just be discerning, but just so you know, in this community, I am using it for facts and organization. Okay. And it will help us be more effective. It will help me be more effective and more efficient in having conversations. And then I can put out more content for you, and me. There's a lot more things we can consider. Okay. So, but because we're not, when I do SGs, that's not the SGs. When the SGs talk to us, the Lead Team Collective, that's spirit, Doesn't matter what questions they're answering. it's still spirit that's talking. You know what I mean? So anyways, obviously when I do pendulum messages, that's pendulum, which is really interesting because I'm doing pendulum messages, but the question is, when will spirit start talking to us if spirit can talk to us through the pendulum and through the dowsing rods, and through meditation, spirit can talk to us through AI. Why wouldn't they be able to? They would. I don't think I don't know. I was listening to Saint Germain, Jeffrey. I know some people get turned off by him, but on Michael Sandler's, he goes on there quite a bit, and he was talking about AI. They did a really good session on AI. I will post it in the description below. Okay. Because we will be able to talk to our guides through AI at some point. Which makes sense to me. If we can talk to them through the dowsing rods and why wouldn't they be able? Of course they could. Of course they could. It's just going to be we'll have to be able to know, what's the difference, It's fascinating. So anyways, so I woke up thinking about fasting actually this morning, because I was thinking to myself, you know what, if I would have eaten maybe 1.5 steaks at 2 p.m., or 2 steaks at 2 p.m. if I could have not felt too much food at one time. If I can build my body up to that, I probably could just do a 2 p.m. and then not eat until 2 p.m. the next day, which is really healthy for the body, right? We know that. There's research out on that. The fasting and just letting your body take a break, So because like I said, I wasn't even really hungry to eat but I just thought, well, I probably should, you got to make sure you get enough nutrients, macronutrients, when you're doing carnivore. But there is enough macronutrients in a steak. It's actually a steak is like that, according to the research and according to the doctors. Again, this is not medical advice, and I'm not an expert in this. But I can feel it. I can feel it, And Dr. Baker, I'll reiterate this again as I have before, but on my other channel, by the way. So I just started, which is interesting because I just started my other channel called Karen Goes Carnivore. And on that channel, because there's, 400 amazing subscribers, love them. The reason I say that is because, 400 people is 400 people. But I feel so much more relaxed and free over there because there's no expectations, right? So it has helped me actually see what I want to come back to on this channel, to not be so uptight about it and just let things grow naturally as they need to grow. It's okay, so anyway, so if you want to join me over there, that would be amazing. Because I won't have too many discussions about this. Ask the spirit guides. I will continue to talk about how good I feel though. But if you want details, then join me at Karen Goes Carnivore. If you just want to learn more, okay? I'm putting out about 2 videos a day. In fact, I don't know if I have my 9 o'clock video ready. It's 9 o'clock right now, but nobody has expectations, so I can put out a 10. I think I'm actually going to put a new header on this and put this on that channel today. And I have to put a new header, otherwise YouTube won't let me post it on both channels, but I think I will. So if you see this twice, because yeah, so I really woke up thinking about the fasting today, and I thought, there's no way I've ever thought I could fast, because I just never thought my body could do that. But now I really think I could. And the most other amazing thing right now, so besides that clearing happening, the mental clearing, the emotional clearing, I don't know what's happening in my brain, but I absolutely know my central nervous system is completely calmed down. I am not as emotional. Somebody noticed it when I started calling, especially on this channel. Again, if you're on my other channel, you're going to know my Ask the Spirit Guides is a liberal. I mean, we work on spirituality, because you're going to be listening to this on the other channel. We're all on a spiritual journey. Not not a religious journey, but a spiritual journey. And on my other channel, on the channel I'm talking to now, this is a little clip for the next channel. But just know we are liberal on this channel. This is not, I mean, I'm conservative on some things, but we are not MAGA. Let's just put it that way. Not even close. So I might lose people now on which is fine. Fine. I am who I am. There's no freaking way that I'm going to ever admit I supported Dumpy or say that I supported Dumpy. So anyways, but I have to say, like, people in Ask the Spirit Guides have said to me, one person I caught a comment that said, why are you calling him Trump now? And I'm like, I didn't even realize I was. You know why? Because I'm not that emotional about it. I'm like, he's Trump, it's Trump, rather than, when I was more emotional about it. That doesn't mean I don't have the same convictions. Of course I do. But when I was more emotional about it, I wanted to call him names. You see the difference? And now it's the energy. I don't need to put the energy into calling them names because I'm just not that emotional about it. So that's just for me, Do I think the names are hilarious? Yes, I do. There was a video that I did for Ask This. I'm doing a couple Ask This. I'm doing a series now, like getting to the truth about stuff with the dowsing rods, which is why AI is extremely helpful for this. You guys don't miss those episodes because they are so helpful. I found them so helpful. One of the episodes that's coming up this week, it'll be like a 7 p.m. post, I think, I recorded 2 so far, but one was on all of the things, 314 legislative actions or whatever that Trump has taken and how many are actually in action. We go through all the facts. We ask the SGs about it. So once you hear that video, you're going to be like, what the F? What have I been concerned about? So that's how I want to be using. That's what we're going to be doing a little bit, because that's the responsible thing, is getting to the truth about stuff and not. We have been very upset about these things. And you guys, he is literally, there's like 7 things out of 314 that they're actually doing. So you'll get way more detail on that video. Oh my, OMG. OMG. And even the things that they're doing, when you hear me read them off, you're going to be like, really? That's the degree to which they're doing it? I mean, because they've been blocked. So it's all distraction. It's all distraction. So anyways, thank you for listening. Welcome to Coffee with Karen. I can see doing this more often. I'm just going to download it and upload it and poof, I'm not going to dedicate any specific time to it. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining me. I'll bring the mugs out again. Click. All right, you guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.